So today I want to walk you guys through the nuclear power plant lab because it's got a couple different parts, and I want to make sure that you guys do everything that is needed. So there's a couple ways you can get to it. You can click on your energy use and sources button right here, or you can go to the course materials. I'm going to do the energy use and sources button because I want you guys to get an idea of how these buttons work. So you click on that. It has the resource. This is a study guide for this unit, so you're more than welcome to download that and work on it to help you study for the test. So here we go. The nuclear power plant nuclear waste lab. So the handout can be found on page 4, or you can just click this link. This site has a tour of the nuclear power plant, and then you're going to need to write a lab report for part 2, but you're going to need power plant descriptions and things for part 3. So that's what I was meaning, the parts for this lab. So I've already clicked on the handout, so here it is. And so by part 1, you're going to take a virtual tour of a power plant by going to the link provided. Okay, and it says once it's opened, click on inside the nuclear power plant. So I'm going to click this link. Okay. And then inside the nuclear power plant down here. Okay, so here's this information about the nuclear power plant. It has a excuse me. There's some linked pages that's going to give you some different parts. So let's say we want to look at the cooling tower. Here's some information about the cooling tower and some diagrams and things like that. You can go to the turbine building, and there's some information here about the turbine building. So there's lots of information about a nuclear power plant there. Okay. And then it says pay close attention to the fuel details and record your observations. So part 1, you're just going to have some observations, basically your notes from your tour of the nuclear power plant. In part 2, you're going to investigate some of the problems that occur when storing nuclear waste. Okay? So this is really important. Read all the directions carefully before you begin. You want to make sure that you kind of have an idea of where you're going before you get started. So you're going to want to be really careful right here. It wants you to use drain cleaner. Just be really careful with that. That stuff is usually really acidic or really basic, and so it can kind of burn your hands. That's why they suggest wearing the gloves. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Let's see. Here's some modeling clay. Again, there's some more. Be careful not to contaminate with the drain cleaner. And then again, you're going to use your pH strips to test and record the pH of each of these containers. And then you're going to observe the containers and record the pH for at least 3 days. Okay? And then you're going to record the information on a data table for each day. If it is Wednesday and you have waited to the last minute to do this lab, at least start it on Wednesday, and then you can collect data Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and you can finish your lab Friday and at least get 20% off. Okay? On part 3, you're going to design a nuclear power plant. Okay? Your description is going to have how a nuclear reactor works. You're going to note all of the important parts, and you're going to include illustrations. Your version of the tour should have images from different parts. You can hand draw them, or you can use drawing software. You can use screenshots, other images. You need to describe a pressurized water reactor, but make sure you know how to use the boiling water reactor as well. You can use a word processing document, a presentation, a Prezi, a screener, a flip snack, a blog, whatever. But it's very important that what you send me, if it's let's say you do a blog, I need a screenshot of that blog uploaded before 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday. Okay? What I don't want is a link to the blog at 11:59 p.m. Because if I click on that blog and it shows that the last time you updated it was the next day, you're going to lose points, okay? I'm not going to allow links, okay? If you have a Prezi, you need to download it as a PDF. You need to take screenshots of your Prezi, whatever you need to do, okay? But you cannot turn in links for this, okay? And then you need if you have a video, you can have a script. Think about how we did our videos for our presentation for your PSA to make sure. And again, if you email me at night on Wednesday and you ask, I don't know how to upload this, or I can't get my thing to upload, or whatever, I probably won't get back to you till the next day. And so that means you're going to have late credit, and that's not my fault, that's your fault, okay? Because the information on your schedule, let's go to your home page and let's look at this schedule. Let's say we're 16. This is really important. The last thing that is due on a week, let's go to where we're at now, the 11th through the 15th, right here. The last two things are due is your personal energy audit and your FRQ energy use, okay? That was the last thing that was due, okay? So even if you did those the day they were due, they would still, Wednesday's basically supposed to be like an extra day. The only thing you need for Wednesday is to turn in the things from 3/6 to 3/12, okay? And so 3/6 includes everything from Wednesday all the way to Tuesday, okay? And you can see this nuclear power plant, it actually suggested that you turn it in on Thursday, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. And then another thing I wanted to show you is last Friday we were at the halfway point. So, we're getting there. We're actually, the plate tectonics module that you start on Wednesday is the beginning of part B. So we're getting there. Okay. Here's some links that can help you when you're drawing your lab report, or your nuclear power plant, and then you will have to write a lab report for part B. So let's talk about what is due for this lab. Part 1, you're just going to have your notes that you did when you had for your nuclear power plant tour. Okay. Part 2, that's where you're going to write your lab report. Okay. So you'll need a graph, you'll want a data table, an introduction, an analysis section, procedures, all that stuff, a conclusion. And then part 3, you're going to include your little presentation or whatever you've got for your nuclear power plant, okay? So there's the 3 parts of your lab, okay? There's a data table, there's a rubric here, and then we can also go into the Dropbox, and let me view this as a student. Okay, so you can see what the Dropbox folder is going to look like. Nuclear power plant tour. Here's your rubric right here. Okay, so it shows exactly what you need to do to earn full credit. Okay. Notice, if you do not draw the illustrations yourself, you must cite the source of the images. Okay. So there's your lab, and then you can just add your file and you could submit.